started to consult for some people. Like a lot of people were coming, like they wanted to know what I know. I had more consulting jobs. In the beginning, it was amazing. Come in for once a month, I'll give you 10 grand. Come in twice a month, I'll give you 10 grand. I had like 7 of those. All of a sudden, like, dude, my salary was, I think, 150 at that job. I'm making 70 grand a month. So in my mind, I was like, if I do this for 2 months, I just made what I would have made all of last year. Yeah. So I should be okay. Based on how I'm living, I should be okay. I should be able to pay my bills. And I hated consulting. They squeeze information out of you. And I met some guys that have these consulting businesses, and one guy's like, well, here's how you consult. He's like, you don't give them everything at one shot. You slow bleed it. He's like, you give a little bit of that information, you give it a little value, but you spread it out over 6 months or 10 months so that you get those months paid, right? But you don't want to give them everything because then you have nothing left. And I was like, man, that doesn't make any sense to me. I get giddy on the result. Yeah. I like showing you something, we do it, and it works. Yeah. And then I'm loving it. I didn't even know it at the time. Yeah. Like, I love to teach people something, right? That's what I loved about it. I'd love to come into like the office and I would show them this. I'd be, oh, you can do this, this, and this. They do it, and all of a sudden their business skyrocketed. Problem was I was getting like, all right, we're good. We don't need you anymore. And like, I get it, but like they got what they needed from me. And I gave it to them pretty quickly. And I was like, there's no way I'm doing this. I felt like I was working for like 7 people in a month. I was answering to all of them. It was great when I went in. It was great. The money was great. I'd have a great time when I was there. I'd be in different businesses, and I'd like being around the people. I'd have all these ideas. We would just be like talking like this. And then like I had to go. If I had work I needed to do outside for them, if I had to go get distribution for them, I had to go and hustle and do that. But that was for 7 people. It's a lot. Yeah. And then like when you lose 1 or 2 clients, then you got to go find more. In my mind, I was like, this is not what I pictured as having your own business. And if that's what those guys have, that I don't want that. You have to paint the definition of what your end result is. I didn't know that at the time. I just thought I wanted my own business. I didn't realize that there's more to it than that, because there are people that have their own business that are miserable. Someone that's a service provider gets paid on time, like doctors, yeah, who are amazing. They can't like take off for a month because they're the doctor. They got to go take care of people, and they're amazing. And like, I think they're underpaid, in my opinion. Doctors, teachers, they're all underpaid. They should be making way more money than they make. Because like then you see all these internet people, all of us out there doing things, and we're making millions upon millions of dollars. And then like these guys are saving lives, truly saving lives. Yeah. Or at least like when I was first doing it. See, now what I'm starting to do, I feel like I'm making an impact on people's lives. So I do feel like I'm like changing the world. Every person that I make an impact on, and if I can get them to understand this and then make a change in their life to then put their message out to the world, and then they help other people, it's like a trickle effect. Yeah. Like that's the way I change the world. You do that on the outcome page where you start telling these stories to like connect with people. You may not be the person for the story. I need to find a story that's relevant to you, right? So if I had you there, who's a mother with kids, husband, what are you going through that's like gonna resonate with you? Yeah. Right? I gotta find that, I gotta figure that out. But if you're my target market, and then I would come up with a story. And how do I figure out what that is? I survey someone just like you that I know that's my target market. Yeah. And I say, what's going on with your life? That's a very different survey. The survey that we're talking about here is to generate leads. It's a lead survey funnel, like with segmentation, versus like if you wanted to do market research to figure out who your segments are. In this survey, they're all multiple choice. You already know what the answers are. You're just trying to figure out which one do you belong in. On a market research survey, I would ask you a question like, what's stopping you from having your own business and making millions? And I would leave it empty, open-ended. You get to type in whatever you want to type. And then you'll find like one person will write like a sentence, another person will write a book, like a chapter, because they're in this emotional state that they're really in a bad place. They're truly looking for help for whatever's going on in their life. Those are the people that I want to talk to. The real, not the people that just want to do it because they want a nice car. They really need the help. Shit's bad. They're sad. They're miserable. They want good for their kids, and they're like, you can't feed them. You're coming home with 1 box of macaroni and cheese for you, your 3 kids, and your husband, because that's all you can afford, right? And you're trying to save, and you're on a budget, and you're like, you want better. Not even for you, but for your family. Yeah. You want to give your kids nice things. You want to provide for them. You want to give them the opportunities that everybody else has, right? As a parent, you feel that obligation, and you love them, and it kills you. You would starve to death to give your kids that last macaroni and cheese. You wouldn't eat if there wasn't enough, and you would then end up like suffering. But if you suffer, who's there to take care of them? Yeah. No one. What happens if you're not around? Are they better off with you or without you? Of course with you. Now, you need to take care of yourself. If you're not healthy, you can't be anything for your kids. It just doesn't work. So you gotta like selfishly be okay for you to do a good job to do all the things you want for your kids. That's maybe your why. Everybody has a different why, and you don't care about any of that. You really don't care. Growing up, like, you hated people that were materialistic. You didn't care about that. So like for you, you're like, I don't need to make a lot of money. I don't care about that. Because when you were 16, 20, 25, you weren't a mom yet. You didn't know what it was like to be a mom. But when you're a mom and you have 3 kids and you can't feed them, or you can't buy them a toy, or and their friends are getting toys and they're not, and you see like the look on their face and they're like, you want to cry. Christmas comes, you can't even afford it. And then the other one's over here, and it's not that you're jealous, it's just you're sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%.
Does that resonate with you?
Of course it does.
Maybe that's why you'd want to start a business then.
Yeah.
On the segments, you would be a different segment with a different story on each outcome page, right? So like the rock star, the label mistake, if it was around like the business, right? It's like, I don't believe in surveys. I don't think that I can do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
But emotionally, I'm getting to your why you want to do it.
So now you're just targeting me and talking to me the way that I need to be spoken to, because that's
but
I'm not my segment too.
I'm not tricking you.
Yeah. No,
It's
not
all
at
true.
all. It's 100%, because
There's
you
no, like,
asked
I'm
me
not-
the questions and I honestly answered, and now
Right, but that's the thing. Like, I'm not making this shit up. It's truly happening, and I'm touching you because you're like, you get what I'm going through, and I get that. I grew up. I had no money.
Yeah.
My mom used to do that. That was my mom.
Yeah.
If that was you, that was my mother, and I see you as my mother, and I knew what my mom would do. She never did anything for herself. She always did it for me and my sister, to provide for us, for anything and everything, always. And we never really had a ton of money. She worked really hard. She was a teacher, right? But we never just like, it's like a rat race, and you can't get out of that rat race, because like then it's just another expense, and another, it's just something always comes up, and there's another expense. You think you're doing well, and then something comes up, right? And it's just like, oh man, like I just can't get out of this rat race. It actually drives me, because of she did all of that for me and paved the way for me. That's the thing that I think like makes me the most upset, that she passed away so early, to not see the result of it.
of course.
And I might cry if I actually,
Yeah, no,
I'm
of
serious.
course.
Like that's,
Well, like when you were talking about people getting on stage and talking about what got them to this place or the pain they experienced, do you not speak of these things? Like, because I feel like what you've gone through is so much more relatable. I pity the rape story, but like for you, like I feel, because that is human. That's living your life, and like, you know, and taking the money from your dad and like wanting to do something good, but and then feeling like you disappointed him, or you failed him somehow, because he doesn't have 50 grand. This is, you know, this is such a huge sacrifice, and he gave it to you because he believed in you. And the same thing with your mom, sacrificing all that time,
right?
But because she believed in
Totally.
you. She always knew this was going to happen, whether she saw it or not.
Yeah.
And then to be able to sit up there on stage and say, like, yes, I took that 50 grand and I ended up paying my electrical bill with it, or, you know.
That's exactly what happened. And getting food for the family.
But now I can relate to that.
Yeah.
And also any of my fear of, like, even if I did believe in the product, but I just don't believe in myself. You felt that, you experienced that. It's, look, it happened to Eric.
Right.
And that could have happened to me too. But, like, you know, if I learned from Eric and his mistakes,
Well, exactly.
I'm not going to experience that.
Exactly. I'm taking you back to a time in my life when I was there.
Yeah.
And at that time, I had no idea how I was going to get to where I am today. I'm doing okay financially.
Yeah.
Like my mom, seeing that would have made her so proud. Like that was, you have a legacy, right? You live for something in your life. My mom lived for me and my sister.
Yeah.